Alrighty traders, George here, in time for the week in review and a look at some of the trades of the week. What I'll do is I'll talk a little bit about day trading. We'll get a refresher from the setup video from Monday, and then we'll look at some numbers for some of the big picture balance beam trades and actually look at the charts from those calls as well. So let's jump right into it. So for day trading this week, Tuesday through Thursday in the live room, this is just in the morning. We're still experiencing a lot of chop and a lot of resting volatility in the markets. We're also seeing some contraction that's a bit extreme at times. So the focused time to be trading in the morning has actually been probably about the most challenged that I've seen it outside of the red zone we saw in August. That's leading to some red ink, as you see there Tuesday. Not much gains to be had on Wednesday. And all of a sudden, towards the end of Thursday morning, some strong impulses put all the gains on the table that made the 3-day stint. So this ended up just over $1,400 after commission, but at about a 46% win rate, which is a little on the soft side, but you know why. It's because of the stop outs, and the big gains are enough to put it into positive expectancy despite that lower win percentage. So trade what you see no matter what, and that's what happened there. So we can't really control what the market does, but we can control what we do, and we want to make sure that we trade what we see based on the evidence that we've had ongoing, and that's what's driving all of that performance there. Let's move over now to a refresh peek at the video call that I made on Monday. Let's check that out now.
And fade back against where it came from. On a break lower here, it's going sooner into trading commitment, so I'm looking for 1990 and 1982s there. And then if it breaks down more, the floor support area of this balance beam region here comes in at about 1962s. If it can trade over 2012s, then up to 2029, 2049s, and 2074 quarter for upside. But this is stuck here Monday morning in a really contracted range and not able to do much to get out of this area altogether. And really the catalyst for it will be this zone here, just seeing price own the top or lower level at this area here. So that's where we are right now for the S&P, and that's the trade scenario I'm looking for. Keep in mind that if price moves up or down enough to trigger these entries here and maybe reverses back, think about it 2 times initial risk that we look at for day trading. So 2 times 150 is 300. And then also think about a re-entry if price recrosses that area. And you guys that have the balance beam model, you know how to do that with your fib dots. Trading here. So here's the scenario I'm painting for oil. The number one scenario would be that we sell off more and we drive down and trade below 46s. And in doing so, what would happen is we would pull deeper into this more dominant balance beam here, and then we would bounce off of that area. And as we bounce, we're going to slowly move our way into the 46 price point, and that's where we would look for a long as price coming back up and being long over about 46.10s. Perfect. 46.12s for the entry. The other scenario outside of driving lower and then trading higher would be we start to rally from where we are now. We really don't drop any more from here. We cross back over 48 and then break back below 47.84s and then look for 47.05. So I'm looking for a sell-off and then a bounce, or a rally and then a fade. So it's going to need to do more work either way here.
So those were the sections that referred to the trade setups for the S&P and oil. Let's take a look at the actual chart and the numbers from these trades. So here's oil right here. This is the exact same chart, and what I wanted to see was for price to rally up and then move back down to get short at 47.84s and look to 47.05s. That's this impulse right there, and there it is. The next trade would be to come back through 46 and go in favor coming out that direction. And what I did for the gain for the week and to track it was I got in later than 46.12, just booked it at 46.95 for the performance numbers, even though it went up higher. And then for the S&P, here's a look at the chart, and here's what happened with price. We went up just enough to get long here, it rolled over, stopped out, then it triggered the short. I'm booking that to target 1, not to target 2, because I made this on the continual, on the front running contract, it missed this target by a tick, and I'm not accounting for that extra gain there, even though some of you obviously got out lower. I'm just going to book it to the target 1 here for the numbers on the Excel sheet. The long triggered here with an end of day exit, so that's going to put on some extra numbers there. And then here's what the Excel looks like plus the stocks. So for oil, which we just looked at, the short was $790 and the long was $680. For the S&P, the first trade stops at minus $312. The second short, or the second trade, which was the short, picked up $475, and then the long, which exited today, picks up $550. So for the futures trades that I made calls on in advance on Monday, that brought another $2,182 on top of the $1,400 we saw from the DSR intraday. All right, so that's pretty healthy for the amount of time in the market and the amount of time we spend even looking at these charts period over and out. Just not that much work for some incredible gains. Now, what I haven't showed you guys yet is gain numbers for the stocks. We talked about still being in position for Halliburton and Freeport, and what I've done here is two things. One is I'm booking gain in this column here based on if you had a $5,000 lot per stock. If you want it to be more or less, you can do the math as you need to. But what I've done over here to the right is I've booked what percentage gain the trade netted when it completes. So DuPont at over 17, Halliburton at about 10, Freeport at about 11.5, and then the VMware short at about 8.5 there. So that really, that covers everything that you haven't seen finalized yet. And that puts a great stamp on the week, despite having that chop in the mornings for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Some heavy lifting here from the balance beam futures trades, some nice add-on gains from the stocks, and just a really good week despite that chop in the morning. A classic trade what you see scenario presents itself yet again. Use the link at the bottom of the video. You can hop into the live room. Next Tuesday, watch me do some day trading. We'll see if we can get some less choppy conditions, and we'll be looking at the balance beam model as well, looking at some higher time frame analysis and more trade opportunities. We actually started looking at a lot more stocks this week and are starting to find some more compelling setups, so make sure you're there for that. And until then, I'll see you all back in the live room next Tuesday.